Oh, hey, are you Bud Bredehoft?
I'm Bud. Hi.
Good to meet you. It's William.
Hi.
And my brother David mainly that wants to see. Yeah.
So I have heard of you guys.
Well, our reputation may precede us, if not.
I just always wave.
Yeah. Well, I think we've seen you on the street.
Yeah, a couple times. Yeah.
But we'll just cut right to the chase.
Okay.
Sergeant Giddings said he had gotten a map from you about the official park boundaries for Jefferson Park.
Uh-huh.
Do you guys have a copy of that, or?
Sure, I don't see a problem with getting you a copy.
So these are the official park boundaries. I was told by him.
It's what we use as for where we're supposed to be, and
so for kicking people out of the park.
The parcel and all that. Yeah, that's the one. It's the map I use.
Okay.
And
Do you guys recall where you might have gotten it from, or?
I get it from our life cycle gal who put it together and used the parcels, I think, from the county. Did you check with the county?
That's our next stop. We've been online to the county maps, and they show the parcels, and it shows a 100-foot right of way the whole way for Linden Street. And so, I think we learned one time that the railroad company had sold us their property or leased it to us, whatnot. But their property, the railroad company's property, only goes to the sidewalk. So I don't know if.
Well, we can take it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the map that Sean has?
Yeah. I just didn't have an official copy of it, so. But thank you. Yeah, we're just trying to figure out.
The map that you saw, do you think it's wrong?
Well,
does it not go with what you're finding out?
Truth be told, there is plats that we found, subdivision plats for the area, and they show a 100-foot right of way for Linden Street. These are also, I think we found construction blueprints and railroad company blueprints for that area. They all show 100-foot right of way. These are all documents available via their, like your guys' City Docs website. But what really concerns me the most of all is the fcmaps.com is kind of where you guys have always referred me to, GIS, Survey Department, and 281. fcmaps.com shows the park as only going to the sidewalk. And so,
You know where they got their map from?
they built it. It's the GIS department. So they just said it was the most up-to-date that they have to work with. So.
I'll give you the map that.
Yeah, thank you. We saw, I think, a green line and a red line. We were going to ask you if you happen to know which is which. That was the only other question.
I think the red line is the parcel, is the plot.
Is the park, okay.
And then I think green is where our responsibility is.
So even though, because if I recall, the green only goes, or the red only goes to the sidewalk, that's the parcel. Is there an actual park itself that is a separate entity, a separate document maybe, or lease or something that says it does in fact go all the way to the street? That's kind of what we're down, the nitty-gritty of. But you said there's this lady that prepares these maps?
Yeah. Her name is Jill Wordsworth.
Oh, sure. Not the front card. Yeah, I hope what you've heard is, I hope you just take it with a grain of salt. Because there's only one side of the story that has gotten out. And Dave and I have been kind of preparing our side of the story for the last year. So there's a great many deal of inconsistencies we found. We're just trying to clarify.
Also got an off-topic question.
Sure. But yeah, it's weird. I want to, I'm not trying to say I'm not in a park if I really am in a park. We just felt as though this one map the fact that it's inconsistent with the other maps, and there's more of the other maps, you just kind of want to sniff up this trail and find out.
Okay, so all I did was go to our map, and this is the one that everybody in parks uses.
Does it say FAT on the top left of it? That is actually a different map that you guys gave us just like a week or two ago.
So you have the FAT map?
So yeah, we got the FAT map, but it didn't show it wasn't the same one that Giddings showed us that year. So we were trying to find that one.
Because this one shows that the sidewalk is here.
Is that the one that's all green? For the whole map?
It looks green. And I think, so.
Because that's the one that we actually, when we saw that, that's what actually got us even more confused, is because the one that,
Which one do you have?
it just says regular Jefferson Street Park, no fat. But yeah, that green one showed the sidewalk being its own little area, fully marked, actually different than what was marked in the Jefferson Street map. So. Yeah, we still can't find the one that Giddings used that night.
Did you ever get a non-fat map?
No, not from here or anything. No, it's always been
Is my map
fat. Yours was fat. No. Yours was
Yeah, I think mine was.
Yours was fat. You told me it came in and it had some extra lines on it. Yeah.
I
Oh, I
believe
have that. What is this?
it will. I believe mine trial has the original map.
Original. It just
I've
says.
got Mad Maps, but.
Yeah, it just says Jefferson Street Park, just like that one, identical. It just doesn't say the word fat on it. And then it has a lot less lines.
Updating Oh, okay, yeah, FAT is facilities.
And trails, that's what you guys told me. Yeah, that's why we kind of did. That's why we were a little bit more curious when we saw that one, is because
And
that seems like.
Mad is medians or something, and.
Yeah. So we had an idea of, we figured the fat is, with all those extra lines there, obviously facilities, trails, you're cleaning up sidewalks, you're cleaning up street, curbs, things like that.
And then our responsibility is all the way down to Willow Park, which is there at the intersection of Willow and.
Let me think.
And so we have, that's what the green is.
So which is including the sidewalks on all the other signs as well.
So.
Or I guess if you were to reprint it, I think we're.
What, are we too big?
Yeah, there's a shrink to fit option.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
you need a bigger piece of paper.
Yeah, that's kind of my question.
Red lines are the parcels, and,
So by green lines, you kind of have.
that would be parks.
Okay, so for.
That's our area, that's a recreational area.
Okay, so is that the kind of parks that you guys service for just like trash cans, things like that?
Well, if you go to the ordinances and look up the definition of a recreation area.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
That's what that would be.
Okay, so.
And then for like downtown, or say Library Park, where we have contracts.
Okay.
There you go. Okay.
So,
So this is the map you were already.
Yeah. So first and foremost, the one that doesn't say fat, you couldn't find anywhere.
No.
Because that's going to be the biggest kind of hurdle I'm trying to get over.
His doesn't say that, huh?
His one, yeah, it said Jefferson Park, and then it had red here,
Okay.
red here,
And that's the
and
parcel.
then just green, but the green only went to there, and then so yeah, so we'll
So
deal
it
with
might
that in a
be,
second.
yeah.
So from your understanding, just from your jurisdictional standpoint, from here to here, here to here, at the very least, with this green line, if you can see, it's kind of underneath that yellow one, but
Right.
that one is guaranteed. We all are agreeing that's Jefferson Park, right?
Okay.
This particular land here, from the curve right there down, all the way over there and up, and then over, following underneath that yellow line, what would you consider that?
Well, the way that's there is, I would say that's under Parks jurisdiction.
So is it?
It's in the recreation area, but you'd have to confirm that. With
Is it
probably
is
the
it
village.
something that is considered actual part of Jefferson Park? Like labeled under Jefferson Park? Or what I'm trying to get at is, if it's something that is a recreational type thing, the 100-foot plat for the area, this is 100 feet all the way to the other side, and it seems to be 100 feet all the way. And so what we're concerned about is we have like Seth MacFarlane or something like that. He is the
He wrote
but not
South Park, or
MacFarlane.
no,
yeah,
what he
yeah,
did.
yeah. Seth, Mc something else. Yeah, you're right though. But he is in the he is the Fort Collins engineer that is approving the parking lot that's to be here.
Oh, okay. So is he approving?
And so he showed me the subdivision plat for the area, and this shows a 100-foot right of way here and a 70-foot right of way here. It actually used to be 100 feet where that sidewalk is, but it was legally vacated a while ago, so it's 70 feet now.
Okay.
And so what we're concerned about is who in the city knows what about this sidewalk, if it's a 100-foot right of way that never closes, or if it's part of a park. And we have more information leading us to believe that is a sidewalk, and then the only
So what did the
source of
engineer
information-
tell you?
He said that there is a little, supposed to be a brass nail tack type thing that you do your markings from. So I got the legal description of the property, and it just follows this there. Basically follows the yellow line with the property company, so the railroad company. And basically, he said that that's just a subdivision for the area available from county, and it shows. Real quick. 1 second here. And so
I think the map that Sean has, it's got red lines on it, doesn't it?
yeah, it's definitely.
Because
and
this
it
is
definitely doesn't
different
say
than
fat.
what even I have seen.
So did you? But you recall giving Giddings the one with the red?
Yeah, that's the one I
Okay.
gave Sean. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is that is in the park. So.
Yeah. So here.
And the sidewalk I thought you guys were talking about was this one, which is inside the park.
Yeah. Well, it turns out while that is legally in the park,
Uh-huh.
since we never left that sidewalk, I was on this sidewalk. My brother was on this sidewalk. We went to municipal court and were found not guilty of being in a park because those sidewalks are not marked as part of the park. And she specifically, Lane even said, if you're walking down the street here, it seems as though it's part of the sidewalk, and then all of a sudden, just some grass.
So in order.
So these aren't even enforceable tickets. If anybody tries to write a ticket to somebody inside of a sidewalk that's part of a park, that's not.
So like these new sidewalks we put here in City Park,
I was just going
they
to say.
in some way they need to be.
Well, the way she had interpreted it is she used the example of a sidewalk that's running along Shields where Rollimore Park is. If you're going south on Shields, there's your lake on your right.
Right.
Those sidewalks have grass on both sides of them, but they're more adjacent to a street than the sidewalks that kind of curve along the streets in the park. And so she said any sidewalks that are running alongside streets that aren't notated as inside a park specifically, you can't.
I don't know how you do that, but
You would exactly. You'd have to put
Because
a
you can
really
come into,
obvious
like,
sign.
you can come into.
sign saying sidewalks closed or something.
Yeah, but for the person, I can see what she's saying here, but what if you came in here? I mean, you'd have to somehow.
Well, exactly. If you're walking,
See, that's the thing. Like,
Well,
City
that's
Park,
kind
you
of
can
his
come
fault
in.
for jaywalking at that point to walk the right way.
Well, actually, if you walk directly in here, technically there's a park boundary, or not park boundary, but a park closure sign right there, facing forward.
Right.
And then there's the main park sign right there. And so
Okay.
she and everyone who was agreeing that basically the grass is notated as park, but just not the sidewalk as you're coming into it.
I
So
guess
that's
word she
that was
used
the
was selective enforcement because it's all about equally educating everyone. So if everyone knows it is versus, hey, you should have known, you just end up picking off the one guy.
Yeah, you're actually not allowed to just tell somebody that they're in violation of the law. There has to actually be adequate notice beforehand, designated and posted.
Okay.
And so we were found not guilty because, and we had challenged this beforehand. We knew the whole point is that this is not designated, and this is extra not designated.
Well, I know that before I gave that to Sean, I checked with Joe and I said, so, because this is the sidewalk that
Yeah, there's been
we
no
talked about.
question
I says,
about
it looks
that.
like the sidewalk's even in, so.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. Giddings, when he talked to us, he said the park boundary goes curb to curb, and I think he's stuck in this realm of just because this sidewalk is included in the park, which no one is arguing that somehow
Yeah, no
also
one's
the
arguing
park
that.
that this is also. But what we're concerned about is that this has never ever been in the park. We've never argued that. We're always in agreement there, but this is the 100-foot right of way.
Right, and this is a different map that I had.
Exactly. So what we're trying to find is that map. Where is it? And where, why are you guys using it? And well, truth be told, the whole point is.
When did you get that ticket? Was it before? Was that in 14?
9/15.
2015.
Yeah.
2000.
And so, real quick, just for your benefit, just so you.
Because
can
these all
possibly-
say 15 on them, so it's different.
Yeah.
But that's how I got that map.
Just online via what's her
that-
name?
Yeah, with our park.
Do you have
So it's kinda
her
like
business
any
card?
other park here. If you just went to like Rollmore or whatever, it just spit out something like that.
Right.
Do you have like
Exactly.
Rollmore Park and other parks available
So
here?
which one would you want?
I'm curious to see what Rollmore has, if that's okay. If you happen to have.
That's the example she used.
Yeah, she used that example. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, Lane did. That was interesting. So.
Also had one question.
Sure. Sorry. Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, we're we don't know if that's right away or not.
You bet, Ben will.
I've exhausted all my questions here.
Dude, no.
Dinner table.
Agnes Giddings. I think Giddings is a descendant of
Oh
the first.
my
child.
gosh.
It makes sense that he's here. But check this out. You're not believe this.
We're gonna use this then. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
that's crazy.
Here, just give that to me.
Oh, you. We'll have to go look them up.
See, there's no red on this map.
And that's roll.
Got the yellow here.
Is that fact or is that just regular?
This would be. So, what the fat is, what you're gonna see an N on this, that's our area.
Trails,
So,
natural
like-
areas.
So like, you know how the big farm is Buchanan and Sarge?
Oh yeah.
Okay, in Parks, we have crew chief,
Rangers.
control an area, and then we have by area, so you're gonna see an N on this thing. Thanks. So, this N just means north.
Oh.
So this is part of North Parks. So the division is
Uh-huh.
north.
So.
So if you were a crew chief for North, you'd print out all your maps to give to your staff and say, okay, this is our boundaries.
So here's a perfect example of what she was talking about. So the sidewalk's inside the park, but it's adjacent to a street, and so it confuses the regular bygoer
Okay.
that they're walking down a street.
Okay.
You know, and so wow, now we know this isn't a
That should
park.
be Shield.
Oh, it's
Yeah, that's
Rolling
true.
More. Sorry, it was,
Yeah.
yeah, different part. Yep, that's the
And
same
so
one. Yep,
technically,
just walking
even
down
right
there,
now-
you got shops and then all of a sudden it's sidewalk.
Right. So
Yeah. So technically, even right now, if I were to be in this sidewalk at night, nothing's changed.
with
as far
that
as-
ruling, yeah, with her ruling.
With her ruling, you guys shouldn't be writing those kind of tickets.
Okay. And our
So.
attorney attorney didn't contest that or argue with that?
He just said we were in the park, and that
It's
they,
actually a pretty benign
they tried.
part of,
They actually tried to ignore
Yeah,
the.
many court-
Yeah, exactly.
to involve.
it's actually a pretty benign part of court. It happens everywhere whenever they're establishing people who kind of get caught in the crossfire of new boundaries.
Yeah. So, above all, what we're concerned about is the particular sidewalk here. You guys, at least, as far as your jurisdiction goes, claim that to be part of the park and something that you can remove somebody from between the hours of 11 and 5.
I don't think that's where that problem came up. But if that's, looking at this map, I would say yeah, if it's part of my jurisdiction.
So,
But I can ask.
So, real quick, the red map.
Because I didn't really even.
Yeah,
go
well,
in there.
the I can kind of show you without having to show you, but the red one that was literally this, just like
The
that.
area I've always been concerned about, is this interior.
Yeah. Well,
And then and then this parking pad I knew was leased by
Yeah.
somebody privately, so I didn't get too concerned about that.
yeah. Okay, so basically, if I were to draw what Giddings showed us, it went like that, so that's all consistent, that green. But then it went here, and then here, right before the railroad ties, and then back up and around, and then over like that.
Well, obviously the map has changed as far as our lining, because none of these have red lines on them. And I know that those red lines were the parcels, because we were confused as to what was railroad property.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why that fence came up.
Yeah, well, actually, the yellow line is kind of where the railroad property is. So, yeah, I've always been curious to see where the park was versus where the railroad was. So that's good that that fence went up.
And none of this stuff has ever come up, probably, and that's why.
Oh yeah. Well,
No.
yeah. So what we're concerned about most of all is that while this line may show what could be a jurisdiction, what could be just a facilities to empty trash or clean up stuff, it goes all the way to the property line.
Mhm.
Yet the park boundary map that we got went to there. So technically the map that Giddings has a little strip of land that wide that is closed,
Mhm.
or not closed because it's not part of railroad, but it's conflicting with this map as far as what is actually
But-
parks.
And I can tell you that
Boundary.
I know that the green part is our stuff, so when I'm talking our stuff,
Of what you,
see, you'll see our city crews cleaning,
yeah.
maintaining, all the way down to Willow. Willow is actually a park.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
down there, yeah.
Yeah, that's a Willow Park. and-
So, okay, so that's kind of what I thought initially when I saw FAT and when I was explaining
And so,
facilities
like, I
trails.
always, and I've told the D1 officer, if somebody's drinking alcohol there, you can use the alcohol ordinance as part of it.
Oh, okay, so if somebody is caught drinking on that sidewalk right there.
Well, that would be an open container anyway.
Okay,
So
regardless of if
They
it's in a
probably
park.
use open container no matter
Oh,
what.
okay. But otherwise, regardless of the inconsistencies between those two maps going to here versus here, this is something that you at least service, but you aren't.
Yeah, as
We
far as
don't-
enforcement.
We don't know about
because
park
this is,
boundaries.
and Willow is a new thing, so.
So would you consider this sidewalk then part of the park in terms of
Well, now I
enforcing?
would, but I guess since the questions come up, I guess I'd get with the city attorney and say, okay, is this an enforceable area for parks? Because we have that question, like around alley cats and that.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah. There's all sorts of side streets and stuff.
Yeah, that's a park maintenance thing, but
Yeah.
I don't have jurisdiction.
That's
So,
kind of what I figure about here is that we've asked
It's
people.
probably the same thing.
Yeah, we've actually asked the guys that we saw changing trash downtown.
Uh-huh.
They say that they service this trash can
Right.
separately, and let me get this right. I believe yes, they said that this is serviced separately by someone else doing different trash cans,
Okay.
different people.
Facilities and trails.
So yeah, I
Facility
imagine
and trails, downtown and medians.
downtown meetings.
Right.
Okay, but
That must be what's
Alright,
going
you good,
on.
Will?
yeah. So yeah, thanks for the patience.
Did I give you that card for Joe?
Not yet, no. So, but yeah, basically, what we're trying to figure out is, so we don't know for sure if that's park boundary confirmed by the city attorney.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I
You
haven't.
never talked to the city attorney about that.
No, because I haven't seen, my map still, I think, might even have the red on it.
Okay.
So now I gotta go back
Yeah, so,
It's probably something we really.
So it sounds like you just get maps from the city.
Well, I get them from
Or-
the parks people, so.
Okay.
yeah, that Carolyn
Because they
part
have to
was-
know.
Yeah.
So like if they go digging in something, they gotta know that that's our property
Yeah,
to do
exactly.
that.
And she would go to.
Which is different
the
than,
city
that's
and
probably
kinda
a civil
establish it,
thing
right?
rather than, so like, so you really bugging me in my mind is this ruling about the sidewalk having to be posted because we just put in a sidewalk all around City Park. And if she's saying we gotta post that.
Yeah, or post it if you want to keep it closed as part
But
of
I
the
don't
park.
know if
Most
it's
people
ever-
just assume it's a sidewalk, even if it's a park. A cop might not even do anything if you see
Because
someone
he
walking
sees it
down.
as a sidewalk.
This was more of a protest
But-
slash. If
Right.
you saw someone just sitting, hanging out on that sidewalk, then it would bring up a question.
Right. See, and that's what I'm saying, it's getting down to the
Kind of
nitty gritties
ridiculous.
of it, you know?
Well, let's kind of put it this way. You were a cop for, what, 25 years, I think I saw online? Quite a long time. So you know Fort Collins pretty well. The one thing I would kind of, throw out there is
You want that?
oh, sure, please. Yeah, that's actually pretty handy. So basically, a reasonable cop theory,
Right.
that has probable cause or reasonable suspicion is always going to have all of governing law. That's kind of the definition of a reasonable cop, is that they understand governing
A
law.
reasonable standard.
Yeah, a reasonable standard of it. And so here, what we're worried about, and figuring since you're a cop, you can probably take our
I could-
little personal 911 call here, is that most cops are supposed to know right-of-way law just as much as they're supposed to know park boundary law. And so, if you guys wanted to help us out in any way, we have gone to the city docs, and then like I said, there's a Seth, city engineer that showed us the
Not
plot
Seth
for that.
MacFarlane, no.
No. And so, basically, though, we have other cops that are being called to this location because there's people in the park, people on the sidewalk. Those officers are considering this to be sidewalk, just on their own calls.
It seems to be one precinct.
And it just
Of
seems
it
to
at
be
night.
only Giddings that thinks it's
Giddings
that's a
and
park.
his,
And so, if we're going
squad.
back to the Parks Department, he said that he got it from you guys, but now it seems like you say you got it from somebody else. That lady may not have taken into account right-of-way law.
Right,
She
she's
doesn't
not
know
talking,
right-of-way
yeah,
law.
she's just doing it for the parks.
Yeah,
crews.
yeah, and exactly for parks crews, that actually makes sense to include that for the
Right.
park because it's
See,
it
'cause
could be
then
dirty,
the
there could trash,
You
things
know,
like
like
that.
any one of them
Clean
can go
up.
there and say, oh, that is my area, that's in the green.
Yeah, exactly. And so what we're concerned about was Giddings saying, well, he said he specifically got it from
Me.
you.
Yeah.
He said that they were
He
the
asked me if
official.
we had a map. I said,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I sent him.
And then what really concerns us is that he said to us on the street that night that they were the official boundaries that had been inspected and approved by the city attorney. So he actually has, and I have the body cam.
He might have
footage.
ran it by the city attorney.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I gotta find out now. But if he didn't, the whole point is that in trial the other day over this, the one that ended up in county court because that was the repeat violation of being on the sidewalk. He basically said to the jury that he had not checked with any of the departments, only talked to you. And then when I asked if he talked to the city attorney, he said he never did. So he has on tape now perjured statements. And he said he talked to the city attorney. Now he's saying he didn't. And the only direction that he's pointing us was that his excuse was that he didn't think he needed to talk to any other department. And so he's trying to claim that he has probable cause by going to here, which may or may not be
probable
true.
cause is, you know,
Yeah, of course. And so my argument is sort of like, in order for a cop to have probable cause, he would already know right-of-way law, and then he would see this map from Parks to see that it's inconsistent with what he already knows about right-of-way, and then he would go talk to the city attorney, instead of offering us a map that says, this is what our city attorney is offering, this is what we have approved as the official maps. Sounds to me like these aren't actually the official maps.
oh, well, and I don't know who he
Yeah.
checked with, if he's saying one thing and another, but.
Exactly. So
He asked for a map and that's the map.
All right, well,
yeah, so the one that he had that he asked, we can't find here. So evidently, if you guys can't find it, I don't know how we're gonna get a hold of it, but it's a little concerning that you guys aren't offering it anymore. So
Well,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
files I looked at, it's not in there, so
Who
they
knows?
probably redid the one, that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, so
And it got
oh, that's what you meant by the N. Okay, so I guess I'll talk to Jillian. She'll know exactly what's going on.
Okay.
So.
Alright.
But yeah, like I said, just for your benefit, just so you guys are aware,
Okay.
potentially there is other departments that are all consistent. I've talked to Rob Mosby, Chief Construction Inspector, and John Bonita. They won't say to me in an official capacity that it's a sidewalk, but they've alluded to it, saying, yeah, it's most likely. We have plats, things like that. And so if they're offering one set of information, and then Giddings is offering another set of information, you know, we're just trying to find out.
That's
what the
where
truth
it
is.
became selective, is there was just kind of the communication gap of clarifying that sidewalk before we got ticketed.
Yeah, and so it just felt a little weird when I went to court, and his.
Where did you get the ticket at? Where were you at?
I got it physically right there. So I was about a foot away from the actual curb.
I was also.
And then Dave he was over
Trial.
there. And so the scary thing is that he can go to municipal court, lose over 2 trials because sidewalks inside of parks are not marked. And then I go to trial for a sidewalk that's alleged to be in a park. But I'm trying to show at trial other departments that I went to, and basically Giddings' only defense is that he didn't think he needed to go to the departments. And so I have a hard time with probable cause being encapsulated of, I didn't think I needed to go to the departments. Whereas now we're starting to go to the other departments, and we're asking the department that gave the map, and even you guys can't tell us anymore that that's really, truly park boundaries. So if it's like, why are we doing his investigating? Why are we going to all these other departments? When a good cop that knows governing law would just go double check his plats. He already knows. He knows John, and he knows real estate and stuff. And so what we're trying to do is, I hate to say it, but if Giddings can't substantiate that that's the official park boundaries, other than he just got it from some other department, getting it from some other department and trusting the other department it just puts the city in a position of liability because I was convicted under it, and now I'm being considered to be banned from that. And so,
And you were just cited, right?
yeah.
Okay.
But the sentencing of obviously for unlawful conduct is that you're banned from that area for a
The
year.
trial was like 3 days ago.
Yeah, and
ago.
so, you know, it's one thing for me to try and go to court or file a complaint that I'm banned from the sidewalk and so forth and so on. But it's another thing if I happen to be right in the end, and basically the city is liable because of how it thought it could determine park boundaries through Jill, through you, through Giddings, when it needed to go through city attorney, through GIS, through survey. And so if you guys said that was the official park boundaries, which Giddings said on the street, on the ground, if he goes back and says those aren't the official boundaries anymore, which is what you heard in the trial, where are we supposed to go? And technically, what we're trying to say is, if you can kind of see the hole in this, or you can't find the map anymore, or you see that Giddings didn't check the survey department, if you went yourself to the survey department and got a different answer, that would kind of mean that maybe you should be taking our 911 call to address Giddings' lack of
But
probable
there's a whole squad out there ticketing randomly.
Yeah, and they're still ticking. I mean, there could be still ticking people there. You know, we don't want that. So. And you know,
Even
truth be
asked
told,
if
you don't
they-
want to ban someone from public land either.
So what happened
Right.
at trial the other day?
Ironically,
Jury
the-
found him guilty.
So the jury found me guilty, but it was a very emotional case. They brought up a whole bunch of fake stuff on by Jefferson. I'm throwing facts out of you didn't check any of the departments. And then the whole reason I think I lost was because I had actually, believe it or not, talked to all the other departments. They gave me the same answer just to go talk to the surveyor. And the surveyor said, I can't really do this officially unless they call me. But hey, it's just a 100-foot plat. If you walk it, chances are it's not going to be inaccurate. So it's kind of like hire your own survey. And so they all sort of lawyered up and told me that they can't tell me officially what the park boundaries are. So I went to court just with what I had, and then the only thing that I had that was going against was Giddings' personal testimony that he
He
didn't
was
think he needed to
missing
go
a
to any other
professional survey to bring to court to kind of convince
That's
everyone.
probably what nail it down, I suppose.
Yeah, and so
If nobody's got,
But it would make sense if it was a
That's probably
confused
why-
case versus a
that's why the
pretty
engineer wouldn't
established.
go
Yeah.
more than what he would.
yeah, and
Because, you know, to be accurate, you do need to survey the product.
exactly. And so it was just it was really, really tough because it came down to his reputation as a cop, saying that he got to went to a parks department, which can't be wrong, and that's all the due process they need to convict off of. That may be probable cause, but what we're finding out is if there really isn't enough evidence, and if there really, really is consistency on all the other side of the city that we're not in a park, then why am I being cited in a park? Looks kind of like I don't want to say this, but we were part of a protest that kept having to be moved to not
Right, yeah, I
be
knew.
in violation, and
Yeah.
so we moved to a sidewalk that our city told us via its maps. So. And now all of a sudden the park boundaries are changing just for us.
At that point, we stayed there because we went everywhere and we found nothing but 100% consistency that it was the sidewalk. So.
Yeah. So I guess the whole point I'm trying to make is Giddings thinks his investigation is done because he says he only had to go to the Parks Department, and yet I'm being
You would
convicted.
think, yeah, and that's reasonable. I mean, yeah, we got a map. Here it is.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is our boundary.
But he didn't go to GIS to compare it, or
Did he have the
Or-
map with him when he testified?
No,
That
it was,
given?
oh,
Where's the map go that he was given?
well, he had it on PDF when he showed us.
Right, that's the one I
And then they
sent.
showed it on.
I just sent it electronic.
Yeah, and then they showed it on a
They
projector for the court, but then
Okay.
basically it wasn't accepted as an exhibit because it was just for demonstrative purposes only. So they got away with telling the jury that it was most likely the map without actually entering it
Okay.
as the official map evidence. It was just really.
I don't know, yeah, where you actually nail down the official,
Yeah, so he says
but we have
that he
many.
didn't talk to the attorney, and so it leads me to believe that maybe he was correct on the stand, that it wasn't perjuring in that case, and he really did only talk to the parks. And then, of course, the probable cause is, if you only talk to parks, did you even check your other department? Because they might say it's not a park, and then that way we can figure out if this map was correct.
It's all under the contingency that everyone, obviously the parks, everyone GIS, and it
Right.
would make sense of the arguments if it was a not clearly established area. But what we're saying is,
It's been pretty clearly
Pretty
established from
obviously.
everybody.
Okay,
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this one red map.
Well, anyway,
comes out.
what a mess.
on a different note, for fishing reasons, I noticed on the fishing license that it said statewide, you can fish at any time of the day, except for designated closures. Are all of your local parks exempt
So-
of that, or do they close at 11,
All
For
our
fishing.
parks close at 11.
no matter
So
what
you can-
period?
No
for-
matter what period.
Okay.
And they open at 5. So it's like a business. We're open from 5 to 11.
That's what I suspected for fishing. You can't go out there at
You
like 2
can't
in the
go out there at
morning.
night. And
Yeah.
we've had people call about people like catfishing out there at
Yeah.
2 in the morning, and stuff.
And that's only for your known municipal city parks, because that applies to the park. Not like Dixon or like that, or something like that.
Right, yeah, that's not, it's not state-owned, it's city-owned, and they've established those hours.
All right,
So-
so are any parks closed at sunset, or are they always all at 11? Because I've
Lee
always
Martinez
seen,
Park closes at sunset.
it says sunset, but Mike West even said it was 11. So
Yeah,
it
it's
seems
11.
like 11 for every
Oh.
park.
Where did it say, what sign? I noticed
Online,
the
on the
sign there
website.
on North College says, 6.
I think
It's
Lee
open to-
Martinez is like the only one
At
that does
Legacy.
yeah, or
And
And
Legacy
online
too.
they say on your website it says sunset.
But that's
sunrise.
the only one. The only reason why is I'm
No, you can fish till 11,
avoiding a municipal
because they're
infraction.
private lakes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
And same thing, see, like, this is a man-made lake, so, it's ours, and so we would enforce just the curfew.
yeah,
And then you gotta have your license, and,
I need to avoid a municipal misdemeanor until if my appeal
Okay.
Yeah,
is in
well,
a year.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to avoid.
yeah, don't go out at,
Fishing.
after 11, don't go fish after 11.
All right, thank you.
All right.
That's all I had. I guess the one question I'd leave you with, which is I'm trying to simplify things. It's very complicated. this
Yeah,
world
it is.
But the one thing I would just simplify is the map that you gave to Giddings that had the red on it.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever tell him, using the word official, that those were the official boundaries?
I told him, I said, these are the park boundaries that we have as being official.
Okay,
So he's not lying about that. I
About
did
the
tell him,
use of
this
the
is
word
our
official.
official park. This is where we establish all our stuff from.
Okay, but you don't
And,
know if it's specifically for service related or boundary.
Right, well, I guess I know that because I know that like I said, the contract with downtown, we don't own the property. It's not part of our recreation area, other than Oak Street Plaza.
Okay, but
I can enforce any Oak Street Plaza is the only place, but we maintain everything around.
Gotcha. But you don't know if this is the actual
No, I'm
boundary.
gonna have to check this one now, because I thought that was
Okay.
public.
Yeah, that's if I could follow up with you maybe in a week or something. I don't care
Yeah.
when. But yeah, basically, The subdivision plat is available on the city docs, saying that's 100 foot. And then,
But,
if you can find out more definitively what that is,
yeah, cause this is different.
yeah, you never,
This is a different map.
and so while you said the word official to Giddings, he may have thought official in the sense of,
The way it was explained to me.
yeah, exactly.
Cause
But-
I had to ask, what's this red line, what's this?
Exactly. And so, I guess if there was a small homework assignment I'd ask my city official to do, it would be to find out if that officialness meant official service boundaries, or if that was official park boundaries to actually make someone not be able to be in there
And
from
I'll
11 to 5.
find that.
You kind of know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Does this sidewalk close from 11 to 5?
Right.
Yeah. And so far, we've gotten all different answers, so we
Right.
don't really know what to do.
I understand. Yeah, now with that map, I understand that that's.
Yeah, this one, the fact we couldn't find
It's
the original
different.
one is kind of tougher too, so.
Yeah, who knows, cause the red lines are not on there, and so I don't know what that's all about.
Okay, so if Giddings asked for that map again, you guys would have to go find it.
I'd have to go find the one that I gave him.
Okay.
I don't know where I got it.
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go just start standing on that sidewalk from 11 to 5.
Yeah, probably be careful.
But,
Don't push it to.
it's kind of hard to case law it through just asking questions because everyone lawyers up. And so
Right.
sometimes the only way is just to go, just stand there.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
it just really worries me. Mostly because we had seen the other people in the park that weren't as homeless looking, and they were warned to stay out of the park, but they all got the opportunity to stay there and finish their pizza on the sidewalk. So they were told that sidewalk is not parking.
Okay.
That was
Well,
officer.
there you got conflict there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, so they have what they would claim as probable cause or lack thereof to ticket on that sidewalk. They end their investigation. Yet Giddings comes here and gets a whole different map, and then all of a sudden nobody knows what's going on. So the whole point is I don't want this city to fall on hard times because one officer doesn't want to let go of what he claims was probable cause when it could have just been discrimination, and now all the other city officials are trying to lawyer up to be safe, but then when you guys lawyer up, I don't really know what the park boundaries are, and we
Well,
never
it's just
actually get to
like
that.
I can't say that is the official, exactly the thing, because I don't know myself.
Exactly,
I just
exactly.
told him that this is the map we used.
Yeah,
Pretty,
and so if you
had lines on it, looked pretty official indeed.
yeah, and so I figured somewhere in there, Giddings should have gotten that disclaimer from Jill or you, but he seems to think it's the official. But then, like I said, he's starting to take back his words that he talked to the city attorney. Now he didn't talk to the city attorney, and so you kind of see what I'm saying.
Sure.
Our investigation is going in the wrong direction, buddy.
Well, good
No,
luck.
sorry for the trouble. Thanks very much. It's good to meet you, bud.
All right.